Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, my voice is hoarse. I had been sick for about a week with the flu and a respiratory virus, so I'm just getting back into my normal routine of daily living, and so I wanted to go ahead and film something today. I hope that my voice isn't very annoying to you guys. It just seems like I have like laryngitis now. I don't have any pain in my throat. I don't have like any coughing issues. I don't have any other, symptoms from the flu. I just have this hoarse voice. So anyway, I do want to do this first impressions with you guys on a lot of drugstore products that I picked up. So I wanted to go ahead and do that for you guys today. I want to go ahead and get started with applying these products. And then at the end, of course, I'll give you my first impressions of how I felt about each product. So let's go ahead and get started. I think I have quite a full face of products. I think it looks like I pretty much have covered everything here. Probably a setting powder is what I don't have here, but I'll use what I have. And it's not going to be all drugstore products that I'm going to be putting on my face today. I'm actually going to use a high-end primer that I have and some other things. Okay, so I do want to let you know that I did do all my skincare and I have put my SPF on. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. I do want to show you these GSQ Teardrop Blenders. They're by GSQ by Glam Squad. They look like this. They're actually a flat beauty sponge. It's not like the round ones, but they look like this. And this is actually what I'm going to be using today to apply the foundation that I have. Now I did forget to mention that I probably will check in once. Today I'm going to try to wear this as long as possible, and I'll try to check in this evening. So I did want to mention that. So now getting back to the sponges, I am going to be using this sponge on my face today with the foundation that I have. And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to go ahead and grab like my Wet n Wild sponge or something like that. So let me go ahead and wet this, and then I'll come back and we'll start with these products. Okay, so for primer today, I am going to try this e.l.f. Puff Primer. It's a hemp-derived primer that is supposed to be nourishing for your face. It says it nourishes and preps skin. It's a creamy primer that absorbs quickly into the skin to hydrate and condition your skin before makeup application. Also infused with other skin-loving ingredients like hyaluronic acid, sunflower seed oil, and vitamin A and C. So I will be using this only on one side of my face, and then I'm going to use a primer that I have been loving. If you watched my December, late December favorites, it was actually in that video. So I will be using that for the other side of my face, because I do want to use this new foundation with a primer that I have actually been loving for my skin. So this is what the outside packaging looks like for the primer, and this is actually what the primer looks like. It's just this squeezy tube, and it actually has a pump on it. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze a little bit onto my finger, just like that much, and I'm going to apply it on the left side of my face. Feels like a lotion going on. It's very creamy. It has a thicker consistency than the one that I'm going to put on the right side of my face, but it did absorb really nicely into the skin. And then on the right side of my face, I was going to go in with the by Terry Hyaluronic Hydra Primer. I absolutely love this primer. My skin has been super dry for the winter months, and so this really helps with hydrating my skin and making my makeup last. It's a very super lightweight primer too. For the center of my face, I am going in with the Revlon Photo Ready Pore Reducing Primer. This is just a primer that I've also been loving to mattify that area and also make my pores look a lot less accentuated. It does fill them in really, really well. And I do tend to bring it down here on my laugh lines. So I'm going to go ahead and do foundation first. I normally do my eyes first, but I'm going to go ahead and apply the foundation that I want to use today. And it is the new Maybelline Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation. I have mine in the shade 80. It's Cashew. There weren't very many shades that I could choose from at CVS. I felt like it went from really light to like 5 shades of dark. So they only had a display up with just a minimal amount of shades. So I went with shade Cashew because it was closer to like that kind of yellow undertone that I always look for in a foundation. It's actually a glass bottle and it also comes with a pump. So let me go ahead and read the claims of this. Basically, it gives you a radiant finish. It also says that it holds up to 12 hours of hydration. It doesn't really say here that it's long lasting or anything like that, so we're going to test that today. It also says that it's not going to clog pores and that it's a medium coverage. So I'm going to try to build it up to full coverage because you guys know I like full coverage, but it is a very thick consistency. As you can see, it's not running down my hand at all. I just went ahead and put a pump on the back of my hand, and I'm going to use this sponge to apply it, and we will go ahead and tap that on the skin. And I'm just going to go in and press this. It feels really weird using like a flat sponge as opposed to, you know, a more round bouncy sponge. And by the looks of it, it looks like it's soaking up a lot of the product, which is not good. Yeah, it looks like I didn't put anything on. So this is not gonna work for me. I'm gonna go ahead and get my Wet n Wild sponge wet, and then I'll be right back to apply the foundation. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and pump a little bit more of the foundation on the back of my hand, and then I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild sponge. Oh yeah, this applies way better. The color's not bad at all for me. With that one pump, it is a medium coverage, but I'm gonna go ahead and try and build it up because I like me some full coverage. All right, that is with another pump. And I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just leave it like that. I can go back in with my Tarte Shape Tape and cover up those areas where I need a little bit more coverage. But so far, just looking at it, it looks really nice, has a little bit of glow to it, just, you know, that radiance effect to it. And it just looks really good. I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my eyes. I am using my favorite P. Louise Base Pro in Rumor 2 for my primer today. Okay, for eyeshadow today, I'm gonna go in with two palettes because I wanna use them both. And one of them is the Milani Most Wanted Partner in Crime eyeshadow palette. It is a very like neutral, cool tone brown palette, and it's all matte shades. And then the other one that I wanna go into is the City Mini palette. It's called the Brooklyn Nudes. This is the packaging here. I will show you what it actually looks like. Great, I just broke a nail. Guys, I just broke a nail as I was trying to open this package. I have to get my nails done anyway. Either way, it stinks that I broke my nail. But anyway, here is the palette itself. It's just a really beautiful, cool tone and maybe a little bit warm tone type palette. And this one also is all matte. So we're gonna use both of these palettes today. I have used the City Mini palettes before and I really, really do like them. So I might just use a minimal of this palette today, but I'm really interested in using this Milani palette here because I've never used one of these before. I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Morphe M513, and I'm gonna go into that light shade there, and I'm just going to put that all over to set that primer. Now I'm going to go in with the Morphe M504, and I'm going to go into this next shade right next to the cream shade, and I'm going to put that in my crease. I'm going to use a Sigma E25, and I'm going to go into that next shade here. Right next to that one, it's this one here. These shades do not have names, so I'm just pointing them out to you. And I'm going to put that in my crease, a little bit more detailed inside the crease. So far, the shadows are going on nicely. The pigmentation is okay. It's not like the best so far, but those are the lighter shades. So maybe they're just supposed to go on a little bit lighter. So now I'm gonna go in, because this shade right here wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be. I'm gonna go into this shade that's next to it right here. I'm gonna try to deepen up the crease with that, and I'm using that same brush. So I want to go into the City Mini palette. I want to keep this nice and cool tone like I have it. I'm going to go into this dark shade right here, and I'm using that same brush. And basically what I'm going to do is try to just concentrate it on the outer corner and into the crease. The City Mini palette is very like dusty, like it has a lot of kick up, but the pigmentation is pretty good. Now I'm going to take the Sigma E55 brush. It's just a flat brush. I'm going to go into this shade right here, and I'm going to put that on the lid. Just pat it in there. And because the brown from the City Mini palette isn't as intense, I want to go ahead and intensify that corner. And I'm going to go into that next shade, this one right here, next to the last dark shade. And I'm going to try to intensify that edge. Now I'm going to go back in with the Morphe M513, and I'm going to go back into that shade right here that's next to the cream shade. And I'm going to just clean up the edges. Okay guys, my camera battery died, so I went ahead and took that opportunity to go ahead and do my eyebrows. I'll list those products down below on what I actually used. All right guys, let's go ahead and go into concealer. I did purchase the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer. I purchased the shades Medium Beige and Medium Sand. Now initially in the original Camo Concealer, I have the shade Medium Sand, which is a lot lighter than the Hydrating one. As you guys can see, there's a slight darkness to this one as opposed to this one. I'm hoping this one will work for me. I did purchase another one which was Medium Beige. This one right here is Medium Beige, and it has more of like a kind of like a peach undertone. The Medium Beige does seem a lot lighter than the Sand, or it just might be the undertones, because the Sand has more of a yellow undertone. So what I'm going to do is go in with Medium Sand first, because that is the shade that I had in the original one. So let me go ahead and put this on. There weren't a lot of shades to choose from at Target for this concealer, so I ended up choosing the same tone as what I had and another tone. So this is actually what the packaging looks like, and it does have a thick doe foot applicator like the last one. So we're gonna go ahead and place this on my under eyes. I did put on my Becca Hydrating Balm underneath there, so just to let you know, but I'm gonna go ahead and dot this on like that. The shade does look light enough, so that's good. And then I'm gonna go in with my Wet n Wild sponge. Yeah, so this shade was good for me. I am gonna place a little bit on the bridge of my nose, on my forehead, and above my lip, just to highlight those areas. So far it looks really good under the eyes. I don't see much creasing. I do really like the original Camo Concealer. I think it's a very, very good concealer. It is a little bit more mattifying than the Hydrating one, of course, but even so, this one went on like really nicely, looks really good under the eyes. And initially when I put it on, it did look very full coverage, but now I'm looking at it, I do see like my dark circles kind of peeking out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is, because I want to try this shade as well, the Medium Beige, I'm going to go ahead and add that on top of this one, just to see if it adds a little bit more coverage, putting like a second coat and maybe using a different shade. And like I said, this one does have a more peachy undertone, which is actually good for dark circles. it kind of camouflages them. Yeah, that looks really good. It did a really good job. All right, I'm gonna go in with my Tarte Shape Tape real quick, cover up those areas that I want to, and then we're gonna come back and go into highlighter and blush. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and set my face with my Chanel powder. This was also in my favorites for December. I'm just gonna set all of my face makeup, and then I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eyes. Okay guys, to go ahead and set my under eyes, I'm going in with the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I did purchase 2 shades. I purchased medium, and I think this one's light. Let's see. Yeah, this one's light. So I purchased medium and light. Medium I'm actually gonna use like on the perimeters of my face when I'm done with all my makeup, but I am gonna go in with this one under the eyes. I did test this shade. It is a very light shade. And it doesn't seem to have like a really like intense glow to it. So I did want to use that for under my eyes. I put a little bit in the cap, and I'm just going to dab my brush in there. And the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer has creased, and I think that's to be expected because it is a very hydrating concealer. So I think it's to be expected when you have a concealer that's so emollient. So let me go ahead and set that. So by setting this, it doesn't look like I have a lot of glow under there. It looks like it set it pretty okay. I'm gonna go ahead and go in with blush. And today I'm gonna be using the Maybelline Cheek Heat Cream Blush. And this is in the shade Nude Burn. So I picked this up at Walgreens. I haven't used a cream blush in like forever, so I wanted to go ahead and try this. It says here that it's a sheer flush of color, natural looking, dewy finish, lightweight, breathable feel, water-based formula, oil-free. It says apply with fingers, squeeze 1 to 2 dots on fingers and tap onto the apples of your cheeks. Then blend smoothly into the skin. So it says a little goes a long way. So I'm gonna go ahead and add just a little bit onto my finger, just like a dot. And then I'm gonna apply it like to my cheeks. I don't like to put blush here, so it's usually back here is where I put it. I'm actually just tapping the product into my cheeks. That's it right there. Very light. I'm gonna take my beauty sponge and kind of blend it. Tapping it with my fingers, it doesn't seem to be blending as well as I want it to. And it does have a little glow to it. It's a very light cheek product. I should have went in with this before I went in with this cheek product, but I think it'll be okay because the cheek product is very light on the skin. But I'm going in with the Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Bronzer, and this is in the shade Sunkissed Beam. So that's what it looks like, and this is the shade right here. It's just a beautiful light bronze tone. I'm gonna use this large Japanese stippling brush, and I'm going into the product. I'm gonna go around the perimeters of my face with this. And I'm going over that blush. That is a beautiful bronzer. It's not too heavy. You can go in pretty intensely with this bronzer because it comes off very light. So you can actually dig your brush in there and then go all over your face, and it just looks like it leaves a nice, very beautiful bronze color on your skin. So now what I want to do is go ahead, before I do highlight, because I got some highlights that I want to show you, I want to go ahead and add eyeshadow to my lower lash line. I'm going to use this crease brush by MUA. It's a 315 brush. I'm actually going to go into this shade right here. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of that dark shade right there next to the darkest. Just gonna put it on the corner of my eye on the bottom. So now we're gonna get into highlighters. I did purchase 4 of the new Milani baked highlighters. I've got Dolce Perla, Rosa Italiana, Champagne d'Oro, and Bronze Splendor. I went ahead and purchased these online when they came out. There's actually a couple of shades in here that are really dark. And they're the Rosa Italiana and the Bronze Splendor. The Rosa Italiana looks dark in the packaging, but once I open it up, I'm going to take all the plastic off just to see if this is something that I could actually wear. But I know that this shade is going to be really dark for me. This could actually be used as an eyeshadow if you wanted to use it that way. But I want to go ahead and swatch it today to show you guys what it looks like, just in case you're curious to see all the shades and how they come off. I'm going to start off with this one, which is the Bronze Splendor. And that's the actual swatch. And it is a beautiful bronze shade, but it's going to be really, really dark for me. Now this is the one that I'm curious about. This is the Rosa Italiana. That's the shade right there. Now by looking at it, it is a beautiful like rose shade that would be beautiful as like a blush topper. So I am going to use this one today only because that blush is not as, you know, intense as I'd like it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and use this over that, and then I'm going to go in with one of the other highlights. So this is one of my favorite shades, and it's the Champagne d'Oro. And that's the shade right there. It's a beautiful champagne gold shade. The last shade is Dolce Perla. Let me go ahead and put it right here. That's it right there. So this is actually the one I'm going to use as a highlight, the Dolce Perla. I'm going to use that with the Rosa shade. So let me go ahead and put the Rosa shade on. I'm going to use this e.l.f. blush brush. And I'm just going to dab a little bit on my brush. Oh yeah, that's gorgeous. Oh, that's so beautiful. I love that as a blush topper. Now I'm going to go in with Dolce Perla. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. These are super pigmented, guys. And they look so creamy on the skin. Those two there are gorgeous. I can't wait to use the champagne one. These went on so beautiful, guys. So yeah, I think what I'm going to do with that bronze one is use it like as a eyeshadow. I think it would be just beautiful on the eyes, just like an all over color, or even like deepen it up with a dark brown. Just really pretty. Okay, so I have one more thing for eyes that I forgot to mention, and it's these new Milani Stay Put eyeliners. I got the shades, Semi Sweet and Duchess. And Duchess is actually one I want to use today. It's kind of like a purple shade, a dark purple shade, and I think it'll go really good with this eye look. So this is what they look like. Now this one has a built-in sharpener, and it is a twist up. So I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this one. Oh gosh, these are super creamy, guys. Oh, that's really creamy. That is Duchess. And I'm going to show you Semi Sweet as well. It says here they have one stroke intense color, glides on easily, and then sets. So here's the Semi Sweet. The Semi Sweet was like chocolate. Oh my gosh, you don't have to go in crazy with the swatch. I mean, it is intense with one stroke of the pencil. Oh my gosh, so pretty. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and use the Duchess just in the waterline. All right, so when I put this on my waterline, it's not as intense as when I swatched it. I don't know if these are meant to be used like on your lash line and not your waterline. But yeah, it's not as intense as it was when I swatched it. So I normally don't wear eyeliner on top of my lash line. It's rare. I do wear it, but it's not all the time. So I don't know about using these for the waterline. Anyway, let's go ahead and we're gonna finish off with a Halo Glow setting powder in medium. And this is by e.l.f. And I wanna use this just around the perimeters of my face, just to buff everything together and add a little bit of glow to my skin. And like I said, the light one didn't have a lot of glow to it. So I'm not sure how this is gonna actually look on my skin, how it's gonna buff it in, but we're gonna test it right now just to see what it does. I went ahead and put a little bit in my cap, and I'm gonna go in with this e.l.f. brush and just buff that. This has very little glow, but it does have some. I can see it on my forehead here, and it's buffing in really nicely. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and do something with my hair, and then I will be right back, and we will talk quickly about these products, and then I'll go on about my day, and then check in with you guys later to see how everything held up. So I'll be right back. All right, guys, I forgot that I didn't put anything on my lips. So I'm gonna go ahead, and I did purchase some new lipsticks. Let me go ahead and get them. Okay, so I did purchase 3 of the new Maybelline lipsticks. I purchased 222 Flush Punch. This is the shade right here. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch these for you guys so you see how beautiful these are. The next one I purchased is Naked Dare 144. Just a beautiful nude peach. These are super creamy. And then I purchased 177 Bare Reveal. And this one is a nude as well. Just really pretty. So this one is Flush Punch. The middle one is Naked Dare. And then this one is Bare Reveal. So those are the shades there. I know that they look somewhat similar to each other, but they're really not. There's more of a like pinky tone to the Bare Reveal than there is to the Naked Dare, which is the peachy nude. So today I'm gonna use the Flush Punch. I think it'll go really good with this look. So let's see what lip liner. And I think I'm gonna go ahead and use Sugar Pie by Morphe. I've had this, it's not a new lip liner. All right, I'm gonna go in with Flush Punch. This goes really nice with this eye look. Really pretty shade. Okay guys, those are all the products that I used today. I am gonna go over quick first impressions from what I tried on, but I'm also going to be checking in later to see how the makeup held up. So let me go ahead and do this quick first impressions for you guys, starting with the eyeshadow palettes. The City Mini palette, the Brooklyn Nudes, I think it's a beautiful palette. I have used these palettes before, so it's not like something really new to me, but this shadow right here went on nicely. It's not as intense of a brown as what it looks like in the palette, but I think that's okay because I think this could be like your everyday wear palette. It is all mattes. There aren't any shimmers in this palette, but it is still a good palette, and I will be using it quite a bit, especially for work when, you know, I don't want just, you know, those bold eye looks, and I want something a little bit more natural looking. So I am going to continue using more of this palette. Now with the Milani palette, I am a little bit disappointed because I thought these shades were going to be a little bit more intense on the eyes, and I wanted them to be. Now I will say, if you're looking for a palette that you can use every day, this is going to be a good palette because the shades are very light, they're not intense. These light shades here, I don't want to say that they're good for transition colors because they don't really have a lot of pigmentation to them. but they're still nice shades. So it did go on well. By looking at the shadows, I think they blended really well. I don't see where they look like blotchy or where they kind of just like meshed all together. They look really nice on the eyelids. So I will be keeping this palette because I can use this like the City mini palette. I can use this on a daily and use it for more natural looks. So yeah, so far so good with this palette. We will see if the eyeshadows last all day. I'm sure they will because I did use the P. Louise primer, and the P. Louise primer is a really good primer that helps your eyeshadows stay on. So, but yeah, so I just wanted to mention that about the two eye palettes. Really quickly, I do want to talk about the Halo Glow setting powders by e.l.f. I will say that the medium setting powder set my makeup beautifully. It looks really nice. A little bit of glow, not a lot. Not as glowy as my By Terry. My By Terry finishing powder, that has a little bit more glow to it, which I love. I absolutely love it. But this one is really nice. This could actually be for your like everyday looks. You know, it just gives just a slight glow, which looks really, really pretty on the skin. And I think it just buffed all my makeup in really, really well. So for the medium, that's great. For the light, I do like the way it set my under eyes. I just feel like it didn't brighten them up as much. But as far as setting them, it did set that hydrating concealer really well. There's no creases right now, so it looks really good. I wish that I would have used like one of my regular setting powders, eye setting powders with the e.l.f. Hydration Concealer, because I would have been able to see the true results with something that I always use. Now what I may do is just kind of clean one of these under eyes up. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clean one of these under eyes up, and then I'm going to just set it with one of my normal setting powders, like my By Terry, the one that I just mentioned in my favorites. It's a rose color. I've been using that, love it. Or even my Laura Mercier blurring powder. So I will do that when we're done with this video, and then later when I check in, you guys will see if it worked out for me. But so far, the hydrating concealer is a nice concealer. It went on really smooth. It does crease quickly, so it has to be set. And to me, it's not as full coverage as some of the other concealers that I have, but it still looks nice under the eyes. So if you don't have like dark circles like what I have right now, I'm experiencing those, then you probably won't have a problem with the concealer itself. But like I said, it does crease, so you have to set it. Now for the Cheek Heat blush, I didn't really like this blush, guys. I'm not used to putting on cream blushes. I probably should have not purchased it, but I did because I wanted to try it. I hadn't used a cream blush in forever. I just felt like it was just too light. I think that this would be good for someone who has like really beautiful natural skin that doesn't want to wear a lot of makeup or doesn't wear a lot of foundation and just has really nice, you know, flawless skin where you can put this on and it looks flushed and it'll look just beautiful. But as far as someone who, like me, who wants a little more intensity with their blush, this is not a product that I would reach for on a daily. So unfortunately, this did not work for me. For all the Milani highlighters, I love these. I think they meld into the skin so beautifully. Look how gorgeous that looks. I love the way the rose went on top of that Cheek Heat blush. I think it just intensified it a little bit more. It just looks really beautiful. Doesn't look super glowy. Adds a really nice luminosity to the skin. I think these are just gorgeous. They're just so beautiful. They look super creamy on the skin. They don't look like chalky on the skin. They just went on so silky smooth. So I really love these highlighters. And I will be using the bronze highlighter as an all over eyeshadow. I might use that in a tutorial really soon. So anyway, really good highlighters. If you guys come across those in store, I don't know if they're in store yet, but if you do come across them in store, I would definitely pick one up and try it. For these Milani eyeliners, I'm not too crazy about the fact that it did not go on my waterline well. It is intense when you swatch it, so I take it that it has to be used for just like your top lash line or even the lower lash line right here at the bottom of the lashes. But I rarely use eyeliners like that. I always use them in my waterline. Sometimes I use them right here on the edge. So I don't know. I need to go ahead and try them on the top lash line in another tutorial or something, or just like, you know, on a day where I'm just going to test these out to see how they work just like on the skin and not so much in that waterline. So I am keeping these. I just want to try them out like in a different way. And as far as the foundation, so far guys, I am looking at this foundation and I am loving it. I'm loving how beautiful it sets on the skin. It has a really nice radiant glow, but nothing too like dewy, nothing like where you're gonna look like oily or greasy. It just went on really nicely. It looked really smooth. Didn't settle like into creases or anything. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this is going to last throughout the day. And for the lipsticks, I love these lipsticks. I bought Maybelline lipsticks like forever. I really love the shade that I have on today, which is that Flesh Punch shade. I think it's gorgeous on the lips, especially with that lip liner that I put on. So yeah, I really like those. Those are really nothing new to me. They're just new shades to the line. And for this sponge, this is a big no-no. This sponge soaked up like every bit of foundation that I had put on my skin. This was not good. And last but not least, the Revlon Skin Lights bronzer in the shade, what was this? In the shade Sunkissed Beam. Guys, love this bronzer. I think it went on like so light and bronzy. It didn't look like too intense where you couldn't blend it out. I just felt like it gave a really nice, beautiful bronze look to my skin without looking like overly bronzy. So yeah, I really like this. I think it just went on beautifully. I will be using that a lot more too because I like the way it went on. So anyway, I just wanted to give you a quick first impressions. I will be checking in once today and it won't be until later in the day. Yeah, so I hope you guys will join me here in a few hours and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. Hey guys, I'm doing my one and only check-in. So I want to go over how these products actually held up. I started putting on the makeup probably around 12:15ish, and now it's 7:26, so I've actually had on this makeup for a little over 7 hours. Anyway, I have been looking at the foundation. The foundation looks really good on this skin. I didn't get oily anywhere on my face. The foundation broke up a little bit on this side, right here in the crease. It didn't break up on my forehead or anywhere else. It looks really good so far. I hope the lighting is okay, guys, because I don't have any sunlight like I normally do. So I hope that this lighting is okay. I do have my box lights on. But anyway, the eyeshadow looks good. It stayed in place. Of course, I think I owe that to the P. Louise primer. So the shadow looks really good. Now, I will say that the eyeliner that I use by Milani, I do not like for the waterline. It is actually smeared all right here on my lower lash line. So that doesn't look good at all. I am going to try it though on my top lash line and then on my lower lash line, because I did put it in my waterline and it doesn't work for that. I think I said lash line earlier, but it's waterline. The lipstick, I love those lipsticks, so I've used them before. I've never had a problem with them. And I will say that the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer is not a concealer for me. And I'll tell you why. It did not hydrate my under eyes. It started creping after 2 hours of wearing it. It made my under eyes very dry. So because it looks drying and crepey, I'm actually going to take this back because it's actually aged me. It looks like I'm way older than what I really am. And I also feel like it kind of faded on my under eyes because I can see the dark circles. Not only that, I did remove this eye right here. I removed it with makeup remover and I added the concealer again, and I set it with my By Terry. It's the Rosy Light powder. Even though I set it with that, this concealer did not play well with that powder. So for that, I'm gonna be taking these back. They were $5 each, but still, they're just not working for me. For the two Milani highlighters that I use, the Rose Italiana and the Dolce Perla, Both of these look really beautiful on the skin. They're very creamy. The Revlon Skin Lights bronzer looks really good still. So everything pretty much worked out except the Milani eyeliner for my waterline, the e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer, and I didn't mention the e.l.f. Halo Powders. The medium did work well on the outer portions of my face, but the light did not work well for my under eyes. So I did have, you know, some hits and I did have some misses during this all-day wear test, but for the most part I'm very pleased with those products that did work, especially pleased with the Dream Radiant Liquid Foundation because I really wanted this to work for me and it did. So anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate you guys. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys liked it, and we will see you on the next one. Bye.